What do you want me to do? They gave me no services at all, not even one, the whole time. My kids were in care from 2004 to 2007, right? In 2005, I went to court and I was like, I need you to record this. My son needs a CAT scan. Because you see, at that time, shortly before they got apprehended in year 1999, both my children had a fungal infection in their head. They were parasites, meiotic figures. And the only treatment for that was an oral pill. I brought my daughter to Calgary one summer because she was visiting her dad. She was about 3, 4. So I went back to Calgary. I went to go collect her, and she had passed out, and she went to Children's Hospital, Calgary's Children's Hospital. And then they sent us to the leading laboratory in Calgary. And they scraped the head, and they found out that, you know, she has head fungus and fungus in her brain, and that they are meiotic figures, and that they're building colonies in her brain, which would be the tumors that would be seen if you did a CAT scan or MRI. Not an MRI, but a CAT scan. She got treatment. Of course, the ministry in Calgary, the Ministry of Children and Family Development in Calgary was called. Child Welfare in Calgary was called, because they're like, why didn't you treat your daughter? By the time they called BC, they found out I saw 6 doctors and 1 specialist, and no one took a scraping of her head, not even one in BC. The doctor then sat me and my mom down and said she could have died. You know, because what happens is that it goes deeper and deeper into the brain until it kills the individual. So we caught it on time. So I went back to Vancouver because Sister Stevens, which is one of the sisters in the church who was visiting me in Vancouver, God rest her soul, she was watching Damascus while I went to go get Kamisha. And I came back and I was panicked because it was all over my son's head. I tried to see doctors. One doctor even said, if you don't stop, I'm going to kick you out of my office. I said, I'm not going to stop. My son needs treatment. You need to help him. You need to help him. Can you at least do a scraping, anything, lab work, anything, please? I need to get him some help because the lab in Calgary had warned me it's pretty serious. You need to get the oral pill or he could die. Nobody listened. September 16th, 2004. Look at that, it's on my tooth. I don't got any teeth back here. Who cares? I lost all my teeth when my son died. Like, I would be at a restaurant and it would be like falling out. I'd be like, Janice, there's a tooth in my hand. Because I didn't cry and I was really calm when my son died, but it was all inside here, all in here. A pain like no other. But anyways, let's get back to the story. So they had my kids in care. The first home they went into, the guy would stand at their room with a bat. So they'd go to bed. My son told me, I said, hell no, call the Children's Helpline. Tell them what's going on. So they called the Children's Helpline and they were removed from that foster home. The second foster home now, my son fell in love with the foster mother's daughter. You know, because before he died, he was saying, Mom, I'm losing my girl. And I thought she was a little bitch, because couldn't you wait till he died and then dump him? You fucking whore, you're just like your mom. And whoop! Anyways, people. So the second home they went in, there was a 14-year-old foster kid that also lived in that home. Well, that boy loved anal sex. He loved it. So he stuck it in both my kids' asses while they were in foster care. And I know, because my daughter's addicted to drugs to this day. Like, she's messed the fuck right up. Okay, she messed up. He was never arrested. Nobody was ever held accountable. So anyways, that whole 3 years that they had my kids, I'm fighting. I'm calling the MLA. I'm calling the mayor. I'm calling Mr. Mitchell, Lena Shaw, and I'm saying, help me. My daughter's being molested. She's bleeding from the vagina, bleeding from her ass. Please, somebody help me. The ministry's not listening to me. The ministry went around telling everybody that I had schizophrenia. I don't know where they got that from because it wasn't written down anywhere. It never has, never was. I'm 51. And I couldn't understand why they saying I have schizophrenia. What's going on, man? Then they said I'm a danger to myself and others. I don't even have a criminal record, man. I'm 51. And they're like, she's a danger to herself and others. And I couldn't understand back then why it was so severe and why they were doing that. I do know now, and I'm going to explain it to you. So we went to court. Oops, hold on. We went to court. Finally, after 3 years, my beautiful lawyer, and I won't mention his name, but he was one of the most amazing people I ever knew. And strictly platonic. He was such a gentleman. He doesn't flirt. He doesn't, because I was very attractive when I was 36. I know you don't believe it now, because look at me. But yeah, I used to be really attractive, okay? And he never hit on me. He never did any of those kinds of things. He was a good guy, man. He was a good guy. And so anyways, that's why I made him lasagna, because you a good guy. I only make lasagna for good guys. We get to court now. There's a protection hearing, and the judge is hearing both our sides of the story. Well, the judge turns to MCFD in BC and says, have the children been sexually abused? And they said yes. That's how torn up my kids were. They didn't involve me in any of my son's medical procedures. I didn't even get to go to the biopsy. Wow. The plan of care that they did in the hospital with the social worker and the nurse and the doctor and the oncologist, I wasn't in the plan of care. They told me nothing. I begged, I pleaded, I went to the MLA. One MLA came with me. It's in Delta at the time in 2007. He came with me all the way to Surrey in this riding, and he sat in that ministry office and said, look, you need to listen to this woman. She has something to say to you. And I said, my kids are being molested in foster care. This was in 2005. Anyways, the judge at the end of the hearing stood up and said, this is inhumane. This is unethical. Get this family together today, because if the mother doesn't do something about it, I will. Oh boy. So this is how the story goes. Years later now, I have my newborn baby, and I'm like thanking God, like, yeah, I'm pregnant again. I'm 41 years old. God done gave me another son. I just feel so blessed, you know, like I just feel so happy. I don't do drugs. I don't have relationships with people. My baby father lives in Barbados. I live in Canada. So I don't date. I don't have strange people in my house. I live under a sect family who had an arranged marriage. They are very religious, so they expect their tenant to be at a certain moralistic level, right? And I fit that for her. So I live a quiet life. Sorry. They ran around and told everybody I had schizophrenia and I was a danger to myself and others. I don't know where they got that from. They just pulled it out of a hat and just said, fuck it. Let's make up a story. I'm going to tell you what really happened. NCIS. Let's do it up, man. They were the one who did the human experiments on my son when he was 11. They coerced him, blocked me off, blocked my family off, blocked my friends off, blocked everyone off of him, and coerced them into signing into scientific experimental research. I didn't say therapeutic research. Therapeutic research is different. It's trying to help you, right? It was an experiment. And they put my 11-year-old son in it. He had dropsy. He wasn't physically able to sign himself into that, but they did it anyways and blocked me the fuck right off, man. And I gotta tell you, I called every day. Every day. They said Heather calls every day. My name's Heather. Heather calls every day, and we're not gonna see that her mental health is any better if she doesn't stop calling. They did everything they could to make me sound like I was crazy. And then that scientific experimental research on the actual papers itself, which I'll show you eventually, it says the research and there's like a VIN number, like a code, like if you're ringing something through the till, it has a number to it. You look that up, it's fungal experiment, how much heat can be applied to fungus. Because I always wondered why my son's ears, they were just burnt the fuck right up. His head was burnt up. It was fucking black, man, like burnt. Like 2nd-degree burns. And I said to myself, why does it look like that? My mom was like, why does it look like that? Because that was a scientific experimental research. How much radiation could be applied to fungus? So you